tests of significance are used for comparing two or more groups. For example, group A people are weight and the mean weight comes out to be 55 kg. Group B people are weight and the mean weight comes out to be 56 kg. Now, do we say that group B is heavier than people in group A? Or is this difference by just chance, That is, if another person weighs them or another instrument is used to weigh them or the weighing is done the next day. Both the means may be equal, or it may be the other way around, that group A has 56 and group B now has 55. There is a biological variation because of these things. So the difference of 1 kg may be just by chance, or this may be an actual difference, and that there may be a reason for that. How do we find out? Test of significance do just that. They tell whether this difference is by chance or there is an actual difference between the two groups. Before that, we talk about null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is a hypothesis which says that the difference between the two groups, whether 1 kg, 0.5 kg or 10 kgs, is all just by chance. That is, the difference is not real and only by chance. So what do tests of significance do? All the tests of significance ultimately calculate the probability of the null hypothesis being true. The magnitude of this probability is expressed as the p-value. So, if the p-value is less than 0.05, means the probability of null hypothesis being true is less than 0.05. Because the probability is so low, null hypothesis is rejected, and the difference between the two groups is considered to be significant. That is, there may be some reason for this difference and the difference is real. In other words, alternative hypothesis is accepted. That is, the difference is real. So the cutoff is 0.05. If the probability of the null hypothesis being true is less than 0.05, then we say the null hypothesis has very low probability to be true, and hence the difference is significant. By same logic, if p-value is calculated to be 0.05 or more than that, null hypothesis is accepted. That is, the difference between the two groups is not real but only by chance. But how do we arrive at this p-value, the probability value? The probability value or p-value is calculated for different types of data using the appropriate test of significance. So the remaining chapter is basically on which test of significance is to be used for different type of data or different type of study design. So it is very important that the appropriate test of significance is used to calculate the p-value. The commonly tests used for qualitative data are listed here. What is qualitative data? Let us tell in brief. Qualitative data is when the subjects with the attribute or the variable that we are studying can be counted. That is, the attribute is either absent in a person or present. So qualitative data is expressed as proportions, ratio, rate, percentage, that is percentage of people who have the attribute. For example, 10% of the obese developed coronary heart disease. So they either developed or they did not develop. So 10% did develop. 5 out of 146 vaccinated people got the disease against 53 people out of 150 those who were not vaccinated. Another example, 34% were found to be obese in a city compared to 25% of people in a village, where the obesity is set on a cutoff value. Those who are below are not obese, above the value are obese. So either obese or not obese. So hence the terms incidence, prevalence, rates, etc. can be applied only to qualitative data. And the commonly used tests for qualitative data are standard error of difference between two proportions, abbreviated as given in front of it, and chi-square test. Remember, we are talking about the commonly used tests. Next comes the commonly used tests of significance for quantitative data. Quantitative data is obtained when the variable that we are measuring can be measured on a scale. So each member of the study group has a value of the attribute. For example, systolic blood pressure, height, pulse rate in beats per minute, etc. It is uncommon to be totally absent in any member of the group. So it is measured in each member and then expressed as the mean of the whole group. This mean, along with the standard deviation, is the value which represents the whole group. The data is summarized as mean, range, standard deviation, etc. etc. So when we compare the two groups, we are basically comparing the mean value of one group with the mean value of the second one. For example, the mean systolic blood pressure of farmers was 122 mm of mercury compared to that of bank executives, which was 130. So is this difference of 8 mm significant or not? Will be calculated by using the test of significance, giving the probability value of the null hypothesis being true. The commonly used tests of significance for quantitative data are unpaired t-test, or more commonly called as the t-test, the z-test, and paired t-test for paired values. In the remaining lecture, we will discuss in a little more detail all the 5 tests, 2 for qualitative data and 3 for quantitative data. The first is standard error of difference between two proportions. As discussed previously, it is applicable to qualitative data. This test is usable with large samples, which means 30 or more than 30 in each of the two groups. So 30 or more than 30 members in each of the two groups. The steps lead to calculation of Z value. The importance of Z value will be discussed in the next slide. Steps of the test in brief. First, we determine the actual difference between the proportions of the two groups, P1 minus P2. For example, one group has obesity prevalence of 25% and the other group has an obesity prevalence of 20%. The difference between the two proportions is 5. Next, we calculate the standard error of difference between two proportions for the given two groups. The steps in detail will be discussed in a separate lecture on the individual tests. So the lecture on this test will discuss in detail. So once we have the actual difference between the proportions P1 minus P2 and we have calculated the standard error of difference between the two proportions of the given groups, we calculate the value of Z. Z is calculated as difference between the two proportions P1 minus P2 divided by the standard error of difference between two proportions. What is the significance of Z value? The importance of Z value. If the calculated Z value is more than 1.96, it automatically implies that the P value is less than 0.05, and hence if the Z value is more than 1.96, the difference is significant. On the contrary, if the Z value is calculated to be 1.96 or less than that, automatically implies that the P value is more than 0.05. So higher the Z value, lower the P value. And if the Z value is less than 1.96, means the difference is insignificant because the P automatically is more than 0.05. Chi-square test is applicable for qualitative data. The test can be applied even for smaller samples as well as large samples. The test can also be used if there are more than two groups to be compared. So why not use this test only? The steps of this test is much more complicated than the steps that in the previous test. The steps in brief. First, we make a contingency table mentioning the frequencies in all the cells that we will show in the next slide. Now from this table, we calculate the value of chi-square for the given table that we have made. From this table itself, we calculate the degree of freedom. which will be C minus 1 multiplied by R minus 1. C is the number of columns in the table and R is the number of rows in the table. Next, we refer to standard chi-square table and note that value of chi-square which is against the calculated degree of freedom and under the p-value of 0.05. We will show it in the demonstrated in the next slide. If the calculated chi-square value that we have calculated from the table is higher than what we have noted in the chi-square tables for p is equal to 0.05 at the given degree of freedom, we say that the difference is significant, p-value is less than 0.05. We'll clarify in the next slide. This slide demonstrates the steps discussed previously. We can see the contingency table at the bottom which we have made. It shows that out of 250 cases, 20 cases have a positive family history and 230 do not. Out of 300 controls, 6 have positive family history and 294 do not. So, when we calculate the degree of freedom, it comes out to be 1. Why 1? Because these are the cells that we consider because these contain the actual number of cases, controls who have the family history positive or negative. You can see that the remaining cells are just the sum total of cases, controls. On vertically, it is the sum total of those who have a positive family history and those who have negative family history. So the actual figures are in these 4 cells, which represents 2 columns and 2 rows. So degree of freedom is 2 minus 1 into 2 minus 1 of 1. And the calculated chi-square for this table is 10.89. The steps of this would be discussed in detail in another lecture for this individual chi-square test. On the individual lecture on chi-square test. On top we can see a standard chi-square table where the degrees of freedom are listed on the left side, whereas the corresponding p-values are listed on top. Or we can say in the given degree of freedom is 1, so against degree of freedom 1 and p-value of 0.05. The minimum chi-square for p-value of 0.05 is 3.84. So any value above this will say that the difference is significant. And our chi-square is much higher than that, it is 10.89. In fact, it is higher than the p-value of 0.02 also. The chi-square value in fact is higher than the p-value of 0.001. It is 10.82 against degree freedom 1 and ours is 10.89. So in fact our p-value is less than 0.001 also, or it is highly significant. The third test is unpaired t-test, or commonly called as the t-test. The steps of this test lead to the calculation of the value of t. Steps in brief: determine the difference between the means of the two groups, that is mean 1 minus mean 2. Calculate the standard error of difference between two means for the given group. The steps for calculation of this standard error would be discussed on individual lecture on this test. Finally, calculate the value of t, which is actual difference between the means x1 minus x2 divided by the calculated standard error of difference between two means for the given two groups. Next, we determine pooled degrees of freedom for the two samples, which is calculated as n1 plus n2 minus 2. n1 is the number of individuals in first group and n2 is the number of individuals in the second group. n1 plus n2 minus 2 is the degree of freedom. Next, we refer to t distribution table. What do we do in the t distribution table? Similar to chi-square table, look against the calculated value of degree freedom and observe the t value under p equal to 0.05. If the calculated t value exceeds the table value of t, this that we saw in the table, automatically means that P is less than 0.05 and the difference is significant. Z test. Here Z value is calculated instead of T value, and Z value is calculated as observed difference between the means divided by standard error of difference between two means. So it looks similar to that of T value. What is the difference? The difference between the T test and Z test is that the calculation of the standard error of difference between two means is way more complicated in the case of T test. And also the interpretation of Z value is more straightforward as compared to the T value. As shown before, if Z is more than 1.96, P is less than 0.05. If Z is 1.96 or less, P is more than 0.05 and the difference is not significant. So simple. But the only catch is that Z test can be applied only on large samples. That is, both the samples should have minimum 30 participants. Paired t-test is applied on quantitative data, but it is applied only when there is only a single group. But each subject of the group gives two values known as paired values, which are known as paired values. Example of situations where such paired values from a single subject are obtained are often seen in medical research. Following are some examples. When you want to see the value before and after treatment, like systolic blood pressure of each subject before taking the treatment and after taking the treatment. Another such scenario is comparing the effect of two different drugs on the same individuals. For example, blood sugar level after 2 hours of drug A and blood sugar levels after 2 hours of drug B after some washout time in between. Or checking the accuracy of a new measuring instrument against a standard one. For example, hemoglobin estimation by a new method against the same values given by colorimeter, which is the standard method. In this case, we would wish the difference to be insignificant, because then the new method can be comparable to the standard one and can be used instead of that. The essence is that only one set of individuals is used and each participant gives two values of the quantitative variable known as paired values. Now, steps in application of the pair t-test. Remember, when we applied the student's t-test or the t-test, we were given the means of both the groups and the standard deviations of both the groups, and we compared the means. But for applying the pair t-test, we need to refer to the original data of each participant, and we need the before and after values at each of the paired values of each individual. What are the steps? Calculate the difference between the before and after, or the difference between the two values of each individual. Now, each difference now is a value in itself. We calculate the mean of these differences. Then we calculate the standard deviation of these differences, of these values. Finally, we calculate the standard error of the values, which is standard deviation divided by root n. N is the number of participants in the group. Finally, we calculate the t-value, which is mean of the differences divided by standard error of the differences, both of which we have calculated in the previous steps. Next, we calculate the degree of freedom, which is n minus 1. N is the number of participants. And finally, we refer to the t-table, which is the same t-table as we use in the t-test, and look for the t-value against the calculated degree of freedom under P of 0.05. If our calculated t-value is more than the table value of t, it implies that P is less than 0.05. The details will be described in individual lecture on pair t-test. Now there is a question for you. Can we not simply compare the mean of the group before treatment with the mean of the same group after treatment? Answer will be given in the individual lecture on pair t-test.